Welcome to SkewbSchool, and in this episode I will be showing you 10 example solves. So this is the first scramble, so we only see a connected piece on red, and we can see that this is a 3 mover. So we are going to try to one look it. So we'll start with the corners, and when we will trace these two, and we do the first move, these two don't move. So then the other move after is this. So this corner will move up to here, and the last one is doing like this. So we have peanut with the U course here, and then we will get to the center. So when we do this 2 mover, it will be 2 gen from here, so the piece in the back won't move. So after doing the first move, this one move down here, and that will be an opposite. And then we will look at the other ones. So we'll take this center. So after doing the first move, it will move up to here. The second move is this, so it won't be affected. And the last move is doing this, so it will move towards here. And I adjust, and it moves like this. And I will pick this center, so it doesn't move with the first move. It does move with the second move towards here, so we have an opposite here. We also have an opposite here, and we have another piece right here. So we know we have peanut with an X-perm. So we have this case, which is solved with a sledge over here and a hedge over here, but we could actually cancel. Oh, I did the scramble wrong. So when we do these 2 moves, we have to do a sledge here. And as we can see, these 2 moves cancel, so we can execute it like this, and then we'll just have a hedge, so it would be a lot faster. So here's the next scramble, and here we see there are no pieces attached, and it can be quite difficult to find a good layer. I'm not the best at it, but I'm still good at it. And how I handle these scrambles is I look for corners that can attach in one move to the center. So in the case of red, I would only look at this piece, and which I can insert like this. And then I look at the other pieces, whether I can solve them efficiently, and in this case it isn't possible. So we go to the next one, and here we have white. So we look by inserting this corner into here. We see this will move to the top, and we can solve this in 3 moves. And we get this case, we're just canceling 2 sledges into each other. So this would still be a good solve, even though there weren't any pieces attached. On this scramble, we immediately see this block. So we only have a twisted corner left, but on orange we also have a 4 mover for this case. On this scramble it isn't that good, but on other scrambles it can be the best option. So you insert this corner into here in 2 moves like this. And then you have a 2 mover left, which you can solve like this. But in this case the twisted corner is the better option, so we'll go for that. So it's pretty easy to one look if we solve it like this. This corner will stay in the same place, and this one will twist in the same direction as this one. So it will twist like this, so this will also twist like this. So we have the used colors here with the headlights over here, so we have pi with headlights here. And the centers are also easy, so this one stays, so we see we have an opposite, and these 2 swap. So we see we have an opposite here and the U center here. So we have X-perm with the headlights here and the U center here. And I use an L for this. And that's like doing a P here. And do a sledge. Do a Z2, and then insert this corner in 4 moves. But something else you can do if you don't use an elk. So how you would solve this case is by doing a sledge and then a U-perm. But if you see, we do these moves, and then we have to do the same moves so we can cancel. So we can insert this corner instead of doing it in 3 moves. Insert it in 4 moves, and then we actually do the sledge in the elk, so it's a lot faster to then go into the U-perm. I would do something else on this scramble. It's doing a pseudo layer. I will leave a link in the description for a more in-depth version. So what you actually do is you see this corner isn't solved, but this one is. So if you put it in here, then do a certain ALK that will solve all the pieces, so that if we undo the setup move, the cube will be solved. And in this case, we actually have to do the ALK for this, and we're going to do this ALK. So if we do it like here, so we insert this corner, then do the ALK, and then we have to do the move again, and it would be a lot faster. So now we have this scramble, so we see we have a bar over here with the two corners over here, and it's a really easy scramble to one look because all the centers will stay in the same place, so you can just recognize the centers from looking at it right now. And then the corners move like this, so this one moves up to here, so that will be solved, and this one will move up to here, so we have the U course over here, so we have peanut with U course here. And then we look at the center, so we see the U center will be in the back here, and then we look at the other centers, and we see we have a swirl because all these pieces move in a big cycle, and that means that we have this swirl, and the ALK for this is really easy. It's doing a B move, then doing a sledge, then do a hedge with the last move going down instead of up. So now we have this scramble, so we immediately see we have a block here with these two being opposite and the other pieces right here. This can be solved in 5 moves, but it isn't that fast, so there might be other better layers. In this case there is one, but you can solve this layer in 3 moves by inserting this one over here, and then you do Y2, and then you can insert these two like this, and then we have this case which is solved with 2 hedges like this. So the solution would actually be quite easy to execute, but there is a better layer here, and okay, it's over here. So now we have this case, and it's a 1 move setup to the mirror of the case from the previous scramble, so we actually know how to one look it. So we know how to recognize these 2 corners, and it isn't affected by this move, so we can just one look it like it would be solved. So it's a mirror, so now this piece will move up to here, so it will be solved, and this one will move up to here. So we have peanut with the U course here, and then we look at the other centers. So these 2 centers aren't affected, and we know they stay in the same place. So we see this one moves to here and this one to here, and then we look at the other centers and we see this one move down to here, and that's the U center, and we see these pieces move like this, and that means we have a swirl perm because the other pieces move like this. And if we look at the corner, so we see this one is in the back here with pieces moving like this, and that will lead to a really easy 8 move ALK, and it goes like this. So here we have the next case, so we see you have a big block here with twisted corner, but because neither of these 2 corners is solved, we can do a pseudo layer, so we only can twist the corner normally. We have this layer which is easy to one look, and we have this one over here which is the same as this one. We'll start off with the twisted corner. So we know from a previous scramble that when we twist it, this corner will stay in the same place, this one twists the same direction as this one. So we see it twist like this one like this, so we have pi with the headlights over here. And for the centers, this one stays in the same place and these 2 swap. So we see the U center will be over here, and the other center will be solved over here. So we see U center here with the U perm like this. So that means we can solve it by doing a sledge here and a hedge here. It's really important that you don't do a sledge here, because you will get a H perm, so you have to do a Y2 sledge hedge. But these cases can also be solved in 6 moves by doing these 6 moves. and it would actually have cancelled with the layer, so that would have been a good scramble. So now we'll also one look the other cases. So we'll start off with this one. These are easy to one look because they can be solved with either a sledge or a hedge from a different angle. So from this angle, if we do a hedge, we would solve these corners, and we see these two will stay in the same place. So most of you will know how the centers move with doing a hedge. These two swap and these two swap. So we know these two stay in the same place. So we see we have a peanut with the U colors here, and this one in the back will stay, so we have a solved one over here. And then we look at the other center, so we see these two swap, so we see we have an opposite in the back here, and these two swap. So we see we have two solved here, a U center, an opposite here, and the U center here, and it means we have this case, which is really easy to solve because you just twist this corner and you're left with a hedge. So now we also look the other case. So it's just the same. So now we know how the pieces move. So these two stay in the same place, these corners, and then we look at the other centers. These two swap. So we see we have an opposite here, and this one moves over here, and these two swap. So we see we have the U center on top, so it's solved with the peanut here and an opposite here, and that means we have this case, and this can be solved by doing a hedge cancel here and a sledge. If you don't know how to do a sledge or a hedge cancel, I will leave a link in the description. Here's our next scramble, and here we see we have a block here with these two being opposite, and we can see by inserting this corner into here we have 3 solved pieces. And then we have this corner left. Most people would insert it like this in one move and insert this corner in 3 moves. But in my opinion, there is a better way, and that is to insert this corner into here in 3 moves by doing these 3 moves and then solving the last piece. And also, I also would be able to one look this case because it's a one move setup to this case, and I know how to one look this because I know this corner will stay in the same place and this one will twist in that direction, and this center will stay, and these two swap and these two swap. So it isn't that hard to do. So now we will do it right here. So we see this corner will move up over to here, and we know we will stay in the same place, so the U corner will be here, and this one will also stay in the same place after doing the one move, and it will twist in this direction. So we see we have peanut with the U course over here, and then we'll look at the centers, and we see this one will stay in the same place and these two will swap. So we see red will be here and orange will be here, so we see we have a 2 swap here, so that means we also have a 2 swap over here. So that results in this case, and I use this elk, which isn't that good, but it's also not that bad. And then we also have this layer. And this one is also easy to one look because the corners just move diagonally. So these two will swap and these two will swap. So let's see, we have a peanut with the U course over here. And then for the centers, we just have an horizontal U-perm, so it goes like this. So these two will stay in the same place, and then we will look at the other pieces. So this one moves over here, this one over here, and this one over here. So we see we have a solved one here, and the U center over here. So that means we have peanut with Z-perm conjugates. So it's this case, and then I would solve it like this, which is faster for me, but for most people it would be faster to do a sledge here, and then you have a sledge cancel left. So here we have the next scramble, and as we can see we have a bar over here with the 2 other corners like this, which is a 5 mover, and on white we also have this case, and this is a 4 mover, so it cancels into doing this elk, which goes like this. So what you do is you bring this down, insert this corner, then this one and this one, and then you have this case, and I do use this elk. That's my main elk. But now let's one look the other layer, because this one is kinda easy, because it's a one move setup to this case, and that one is really easy to one look because these two corners stay in the same place, so you don't have to trace any corners. This one in the back stays in the same place, and these two swap and these two swap. So now we are going to trace to this case from this one. So we'll start off with the corner, so we know when this corner is in here that these two stay in the same place, so we're gonna trace the corner in the back here. So when this comes down here, this piece will move over here, and that means that we have peanut with the U colors here. For the centers, we know the one in the back stays in the same place, and it isn't affected by doing that one move, so we know it stays in the same place. And then we will one look the other corners, centers. So we know these two swap, so we will trace the pieces that will be here. So when doing this move, we see this center moves up to here, and after doing the layer, then these two swap, so it will come over here. So, and that's the U center, so the U center will be here. This will be on top, and it's going to this side, and this one is opposite to this. So it means we have two opposites here. And if we don't know, we can recognize that in 3 centers. We want to look some more, so we see these two swap, so this one will move over to here, but after doing the layer it will move back, and we see that it is an opposite. And then for the other center that goes here, by doing this move, this one will come over to here and move to here, so that will be an opposite. So that is this case, which is really easy. You can solve it by doing a hedge here and a sledge here, but I use an elk for this. It's a bit faster and more consistent for me, and it goes like this. But I wouldn't learn that till you have learned like a lot of cases, because this one is a bit faster but not that much. Here we have the next scramble. So here we see this block and this case. This one is pretty easy to one look, but to look further, and then we would see this case. So it might seem really bad, because if you insert this corner like this, the two pieces are left like this, and it's like a 6 mover, so isn't really that good. But what we can actually do is insert this corner into here in 3 moves like this, and then we can insert the piece like this, and this is really fast. And then we are left with this case, and I use an elk from this angle, and it goes like this. But another really fast one is to go here, pull this corner out in 3 moves, and insert it in 4 moves. So now let's one look the other layer. So how the pieces move here, it's quite easy. So this corner moves diagonally to here, so it means this piece will be here. So we have headlights over here with pi, and then the centers are also easy because these two stay in the same place, and this moves like this. So we see just like a Z perm, and when we see this come down, we have a 2 swap here and 2 swap here. So we have pi with the swaps here, and it goes like this. So you insert this one into here in 3 moves, and then you have this 3 mover left. From this angle I would actually do this elk, but it isn't the fastest one. So if you're learning an elk, I would recommend learning this one. So you take this one out in 3 moves, then bring it down, then push it out in 3 moves, and insert it back in 3 moves. So here we have the last one. So here we have this case, which is kind of good, and the other ones are 2 move setups to a decent case. So for example, doing these 2 moves to this case, or on blue do 2 moves to a twisted corner. But this one is actually 4 moves, so it's pretty fast, and it goes like this. And now we have this case, and I solve it by doing this ALK, and it's just twisting this corner 2 times. So we twist it in this direction, and then we twist it in the other direction, and the cube is solved.